Hello and welcome to our third part of the gamma control inside the Vue. So right now here I have it scenario loaded. Again, we're using a mansion model from Jane Lee, and this is model will be available on a Geekatplay website for free to download. Again, with some limited usage, but you can download it and experimenting and see how it's happened. So we have it right here model with the lights. What I set up, it's a sun going on a side and going through the window, as well in atmosphere options. Okay, I said about 77% of the sunlight. So we have it a little bit more brighter, a little bit less on ambient light, within global radiosity, with unchecked optimization for auto rendering. So it's just a simple preset. Okay, we have no clouds and everything default on the rest of them. So let's say if we using normal Vue render without gamma control, and right here pre-render my image, you can see it's actually look not bad, but right here notice we have it where the shadows come from the windows. It's very harsh shadows. In our chairs example, they're too dark. So again, if we come back to our image in Photoshop, so right here what happened, this is a linear going, and here is what happening with this overcompensating this, well, not overcompensating, with this curve when we start having losing in highlights and losing in our dark areas. So right here you can notice dark areas, we start losing details, and we leave it over on our highlights. Highlights right now just simple white, but if we have it any plants outside, you will notice that we start losing them as well. Again, but with highlights, our eyes, we kind of don't see so many details, so its highlights maybe look okay for us, but the dark areas, it's which give it us problem. The one thing with the Vue and most 3D applications, they render with floating point, render 32 bits, so they have it all the information, it's there on the images. What's happening when we put it on a screen, we try to compress that information and says what information should be displayed on a screen for us to view. Even how I say all that data, even all the small details on the chair, there was rendered and they inside the Vue. To access them, we can apply post-render filters. So let's go ahead, right click, and we go to post-render options. And right here we have a current gamma set to 1. We'll need compensate for this, and let's set to 2.2. 2. Okay, so we'll oops, let me retype it again. 0.2. Click OK. So and we'll click OK. At this point, you can see with even this already simple gamma correction, now we see all these details on the chairs right here, with even all the materials properly specular applied. And again, specular, one of the effect will be most suffering from wrong gamma control. So we have it nice on material specular. You notice right here shadows is look much more real. We have it even darker points right here under chair was less, and lights applied, and that is look a little bit more like you take image with your photo camera. Of course, we'll go look in some details how we can enhance even this look with setting properly subrays and calculating bucket size for our lighting. But this is already, even with small gamma adjustment, you have a huge benefit, and it's look very real phototype already image. Even we need to rework with some other small details, but the lighting overall, it's a look very correct at that point. Few options is only what we need notice. It is we with a lower contrast, because it's linear, we start losing some colors on your materials will be look washed out, primarily if you're using the texture images. Again, in this case, what you want to do, be sure you don't use it just post render. It's not like you go render at one and after you apply filters, because filters will apply it, but it won't calculate properly materials when you render. So what do you need to do? You be sure before you render, you're going inside your camera in, you're going to preset at this point before you render, you set your properly gamma. So it's not just a filter correction, it's also will help you to apply properly on your texture, mapping the properly adjustment and compensations for your material, so material doesn't look very washed out. Okay, so let's look a couple things right now on our render options. So right here we have it set to the user settings. Okay, we have it our trace set properly. Again, if you want lights bouncing a little bit more than 5 times, we need to go inside and increase how many times reflection will work. We'll leave this as default. Okay, blur rendering, if you want higher quality, just leave it on ray tracing, or you try to hybrid. Again, by default will be okay. The most important, it will be right here when we go to advanced editing, and again this is will go from our effect quality. Okay, we needed one thing, let's unchecked optimizing direct lighting on a plants. The won't affect this, but again it will be calculating without using optimization algorithms. Take a little bit longer, but it will produce the better quality. Again, it will increase time. And a couple options what I like to do on the pre-render, I like to enable show samples, and you will see when we do pre-pass, it's actually showing me place where is evaluation happen on the points. On that case, I can see if it's something wrong, I need to decrease my bucket size or increase, depend if it's look okay. Again, increase bucket size 16 by 16, it's the biggest one, so it's take it and evaluate area light in the 16 by 16 pixels square, which is produced quite a bit fast. Again, decreasing bucket size will increase your render speed, but also will increase accuracy of calculation light. So if you want, if we said 4 by 4, it will be smaller, but again, it will produce the best calculation on a light. And this is if most important for you. Also, I will kind of recommend to going on a contrast quality pop-up that is a little bit more, maybe up to 70. That will be also provide quality. Harmonic and alignment, they will more effective if you work with ecosystem, but just leave it them as default. Again, increasing will increase quality, but will increase the speed of as well, speed of decrease speed of rendering as well by increasing quality. Okay, so next options will go inside a Photon Map, and in most cases you want left by default, but again, what is happening, it's showing me how many times, how many photons will produce, and how many times levels they will bounce it from each surface, and decay as well. It's each time how much it will decay. So to produce a better result, more lighting effect accuracy, you want to increase this, but also you want to work with a decay on each of them. So let's say we put it 20, but at this point I want to put to 45. Okay, and in this case it will be taking much longer time now to render, but it will provide more accurate information of the lighting bouncing from my object. Again, that is will be more important work with the type of the lighting you're using. Currently we're using radiosity, so this will affect in this case custom photon gathering option. Okay, so our next option is a gathering, and this is tell and what radio or what size when information was gathering. And in many cases what we want to do, we want to set right size for our when we do indoors, for example for this building. So we don't need to do above the away from building or areas where it's far away, because we don't really care. Simulation will work very nice, but for the close-up and other ones we want to do very accurate. So let's do a couple things. We'll go right here, and again we'll look on our building. Okay, and we notice the sizes and locations, so it's about 10 20, so about 20 meters we need set for this. Let's go back 2 hours and we'll just set 20 meters. Again, that will increase speed, will decrease speed of rendering, so increase the time. And number countering photons, we also, I want just double on this. Next option is mostly for Gaussic, but we do have it some glass right then. We have it more glass surfaces. I may want to increase on that as well, but right now I want to leave it this as default. Okay, let's okay on this one. And if you need to know more options about this, check our series of materials in the view where we're going in more details on all these options and settings. Okay, I don't care right now about multipassing or G buffer. We'll leave this. Just want render images. Texturing, we can look right here, and we have it also a minimum sub and a maximum on the subsurface. Optimize will provide faster rendering, but systematic will take a little bit longer time. But it will produce better result. What actually happened with optimize, it will randomly fire different subrays per pixel and will try to guessing on this. Systematic, it will produce same amount of the subpixels on a minimum, and if result not calculating, it will try to calculate with a second set of the maximum set. So we can pop up just quality a little bit up to maybe 50. Or maybe even higher, and let's set a minimum 10 and maximum 20. Okay, this is our object anti-aliasing. Also we have it our texture, and we can set crease, pre-compute, and we can pop up this one as well. Again, this will increase quite a bit of the render time. This is all come with a price. Again, in my cases, I will go render through the actually my render farm, so it will take a little bit faster for me to produce that image. But just beware when you start changing those settings at your home computer and you using just in one machine, it may take some time for all this renderings to apply it. Okay, so let's click OK on this. Let me see settings, and yeah, we're ready to render preview for this one. As well, till we start rendering, one thing I want to show you in the beginning, you'll see those red dots will appear on my first pass. This is actually will display me where's the image located and what buckets and where the sampling was performed, where's rendering happen. Okay, so right now you can see those red dots. It's actually I specify which for the buckets where the evaluation will happen. So it's actually showing me areas where the most evaluation happen. And this is just very nice, one of the many tools that provide in view for the tracking the information that is actually rendering. So we'll come back to this image when it's done render all the way. You can see the more we progress, the more points was evaluating in our image. Okay, so right here we have it, our final image. And a couple things you can notice, we have it very beautiful reflections right here on our floor. So from the windows, it's properly generated as well. Like in this moment, right here in this option, you can see we have it nice shadows that with high detail, so they're not overwhelmed. Even I have it 70% of the sunlight, which is kind of very contrasted coming. Our shadows is not dark and overwhelmed, and we do not lose any details right here in our chairs. We can see very good all the reflection. We can see specular lights coming out and reflection from on our columns without distortion to on materials. Again, this is not even very high settings. This optimize it. However, it took about 1 hour to render on a normal machine. So on the render farm, it's take about 5-7 minutes to render. Overall, you can go ahead and try maybe higher settings and with more photons maps to increase even better on the reflection, realistic. But overall, with gamma correction, you can see it's not overwhelmed. Again, we can go ahead and compare this one to what will happen if it was without. Okay, and this is how this image will look with original output from view without properly gamma correction. Okay, so next, this is one experiment with the sun. Next, I want to actually put it sun on top and increase more of the ambient lighting, so we will have it more details in our textures with a smoother light. Again, this is just test for very high contrast light, but again, point on our shadows for this. Okay, so let's go ahead, close this one. We'll take our sun. I want to position sun a bit higher above, so we'll have it more producing of even lights. Okay, next we'll go to atmosphere editor and we'll go to our light and we'll putting a little bit more towards reset our lights. So we will have a little bit higher details now on our textures. Okay, and right here we have it image with more ambient lighting enabled, and you can see we have more even shadows. But again, if you compare to images that is produced without gamma correction, we have it much more details, they're clean, and scenery look more real. Thank you for watching this tutorial from Geekatplay Studio. Please remember, visit us on the web as www.geekatplay.com.